Hey, it's Charles with Chaks Productions again, and today we're going to be discussing how to finish your 3D printed projects. It's not as difficult as it seems, and I've got a few...
The Screenslaver interrupts this broadcast with a very important message.
Now, I've made a few costumes, and some of them are pretty elaborate, but none of them have gotten the buzz that my Screenslaver costume has. So, in this new feature on the channel called Project Breakdown, I'm going to break the costume down. I'll discuss the materials I used, where I got them, and how I put it all together. And as a special thank you to new viewers, I'm going to offer the files for download to complete the costume. Now, I feel that cosplay is a collaborative hobby, and it's important to give credit to others' work. So if you use the files, do me a favor. Subscribe to my channel, maybe give me a shout out, even consider a donation. The more feedback I receive, the more able I am to give you features like this in the future. Now, let's break it down. Most of the Screenslaver costume is pretty basic. Black shoes, dark gray pants, a belt with a rectangular silver belt buckle, long black gloves, a dark gray shirt, and what we'll be looking at today, the hood. Let's start with the Screenslaver's mask. I began with a basic morph suit mask with the eyes cut out, then went to the fabric store and found a material that was a pretty close match to the one being used in the mask. Then, using craft paper, I drafted out several patterns of the cowl and tried them on until I had one I was satisfied with. Then I took that pattern, traced it onto the fabric, and cut out the basic shape of the cowl. For the next step, I enlisted the help of Spooky Panda costumes because I'm no tailor, and she attached the cowl to the mask using a serger and cleaned up the edges of the cowl. Stop by and check out some of her other amazing work. Next, I printed the face shell. This is a Spider-Man face shell that was created by Ken Landrum on the RPF.com and has been modified with larger eye holes. Depending on the size of your printer, you may need to cut this model into two pieces. I added magnets for the goggles and for the mouthpiece, and on top I cut two slots with a Dremel tool and slid some hook and loop in there for some better cable management with the goggles. When you're printing this, don't worry about its appearance too much because it will all be hidden underneath the mask. And you don't need to worry about cutting this piece out through the bridge of the nose here either. That was me just trying a few things. It's not necessary. I then printed the mouthpiece. Pretty straightforward here. Just print the piece, sand it, and give it some silver paint. Optionally, you can add some magnets to the back, as I've done here, and this will allow the mouthpiece to snap directly onto the face shell, and will work over the fabric. Now on to the goggles. The goggles have been specifically designed to fit the face shell. You'll want to 3D print the main part of the goggles as well as both lens holders. Sand these parts, attach the lens holders, and then apply a decent amount of Plasti-Dip so that you get that rubbery look that they have in the movie. The strap and its details are made from EVA foam. You can open the included file in Pepakura and hand cut the foam, or it can be used with a laser cutter as well. When cutting the strap, make sure that you give yourself enough length so that the goggles will fit snugly on your head with the mask and face shell on. Once you've found the desired length, attach the detail pieces, Plasti-Dip once again, and attach to the inside of the goggles, here and here. Now on to the lenses. The lens kit can be purchased from Raisu or Risu at the RPF.com and will include 2 clear lenses with the grid etched into them, 2 orange lenses, and pre-wired LED self-adhesive strips that will fit perfectly inside the goggles. Before installing the lenses, you will want to sand a notch in each orange lens using a Dremel tool or sanding file. This will allow for the wires when installing the lenses. First, pop the clear lenses in. They may require a little sanding, but should fit snug and not require any additional adhesive. Next, line the inside of the goggles using the self-adhesive strip on the LEDs. Make sure that the wires are on the inside nose of the goggles. You may require a little additional hot glue to keep the LEDs in place. Next, solder the battery connectors to the wires. I gave myself some extra wire length so that I could run the wires over the top of my head, underneath the mask, and to my back pockets where the batteries were being held. This allowed for better wire management and kept the wires hidden. Each lens is running on one 9-volt battery. This was also for better cable management. Next, install the orange lenses, making sure to line the notch up with the wires. Take care during this step so that you don't dislodge the wiring or the LEDs. Once completed, test out your lenses by attaching the batteries. And your lens installation is complete. You can actually see through these lenses when lit, and that is the purpose behind the orange lenses, is to hide the blue light. This is what your vision will look like. And that's it. You're ready to take on the Incredibles. A few final notes. I do highly recommend putting the magnets in the mouthpiece, the goggles, and the face shell. That helps keep everything nice and lined up and in place. And I do recommend putting the hook and loop through the top of the face shell. That helps with cable management for the goggles, and it brings the cables over the top of the head, down the back, and keeps things nice and hidden. When putting on the mask, I recommend putting the face shell into the mask first, then running the cables from the goggles through the hook and loop and over the back of the head, then putting the mask on. That makes things a lot easier. I hope this tutorial has helped you with your nefarious plans to take over the world, and I've left a list of materials in the description. If you have any questions and comments, leave them below and hit that subscribe button. As always, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for stopping by.